Hey everybody, welcome back. We are on episode number 4, but episode number 1 of 2022 of the TO Desk by 956 Productions. I am your host, Shib. It's really nice to be back here with a couple familiar faces. I've got Coren. Coren, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
It's good to hear. DJCream, Daryl, how you doing?
Yo, Happy New Year's, everyone.
It's really nice to be here on the new year. Tenma, how you been?
Yo, Happy New Year's. Good
Yes.
to be back.
All right, if you have been listening, first of all, we took a break from this last episode because everybody was on holiday. So, Happy New Year's to everybody again. And thank you for listening to any of our existing episodes. We've been on YouTube and we've been on now Spotify and a couple of different podcast feeds. So we've been really trying to get the show out there. So I just want to thank everybody for their initial support because we plan on doing this thing throughout the whole year if we can. And hopefully, looking into 2023, maybe we can keep this going because we are definitely having a great time with it. We're going to talk a little bit about the past and the future. So we're going to kind of look back at a couple of stories from 2021. And then we're going to talk about our expectations for 2022 or some of the things that we're going to be keeping an eye on. So you guys have the topic list here. First, 2021 FGC highlights. This can be anything. This can be absolutely whatever. This is your space to soapbox about whatever it is that you care about that happened in 2021. So I'm just gonna go down the list. I want to hear one thing at least. If you got two, feel free. What was a highlight for you in 2021, Corin? Let me start from the top.
Vortex Gallery.
Yep, I think a lot of us here would agree with that. Do you have anything in particular about that you felt was particularly strong?
Just seeing everybody come out for their games. We had like 66 games, was it, or was it even more than that?
It was more than that. 66. That number that you got comes from
That's the Matcherinos.
The Matcherinos, yeah. So we were sent. We'll probably have this up on our socials by the time this episode comes out. We were sent a certificate for running 66 events in 2021 with Matcherino. All of that was through Vortex Gallery. Thousands of dollars raised. We are eternally grateful not only to, I think, what Matcherino does, but also to the community because we can put our events out there, but it comes down to people supporting us for those numbers to go up. So definitely want to take the time to thank everybody. So yeah, I think that's a great pick. Daryl, do you have any particular highlights that you want to shout out?
Yo, this is the year where Melty Blood players got to eat a smorgasbord of new content. Like what was it? March they announced the new Melty Blood, and then me and a bunch of like old heads are just like losing our friggin' minds. Is like, and then the fact that like over the summer we got like new like a 3-minute like trailer of new content every single like week was like, all right, cool. They kept feeding us enough, and then like leading up to Type Lumina release, and then now going into this new year, I'm pretty sure this episode comes out just as the new characters.
Yeah, they'll be out for
Dead Apostle,
3 days.
Dead Apostle Noel and Aoko drops. Yeah, so like, like 2021 was Melty Blade eating, and then we're gonna continue eating in this new year.
I feel like this episode's gonna have a lot of French bread love because I can tell you right now, this topic list I plan on mentioning French bread a couple of times. But I'll go next. I'm gonna echo actually the last two. Vortex Gallery was obviously a continuation of what we did with Anime even bigger, and us launching into our own. So it was really great. It was a highlight for me, obviously, to do that, especially to come onto the team because now we have this independent branding that we do. So like of all the tournaments that I helped out with, because people who know me, they can literally just ping me like, hey, do you want to run a tournament? I'll be like, yeah, sure. I'll always throw myself out there and be like, yeah, I'll try. I'm gonna try to make it happen. I can help this day. I can, if I'm available, I'll do it. I'm always throwing myself into something. But Vortex Gallery was bigger than everything else, I think, and I did some really cool things. In the TO space, the online events in 2021. Other highlight for me was Multi Blood community, but more specifically what I did with Concerto in 2021. Because whether or not that changed something for people who play Multi Blood, is not really why it's a highlight for me. It's because I put so much damn time into it.
Hell yeah.
It was just so much work. Like you can't not. I can't not pretend that I didn't put hundreds of hours into making that project. Regardless of how many people use it or whatever. Like that was just such a significant part of the projects that I undertook. Coding, a front end application, doing integration into the multi-blood application, doing like reverse engineering, doing the server, writing all the documents, countless hours of tech support. It was worth it, right? And it was definitely maybe the second biggest thing, if not the biggest thing that I did. And if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, Concerto is a graphical front end for Melty Blood Community Edition. So you have a nice user interface with new art and sound that we developed. It adds a ton of new features. It adds online lobbies, which were not available in CC Caster. It kind of ties up all the package into something that looks a little more presentable, right? And this went a long way towards getting new people into the game, people who were not necessarily interested in dealing with a command line application, or just adding new features, because online lobbies was just not a thing for NBA.
Yeah,
ACC.
just to jump in on that, like as a player, I spent a lot of time, especially on the lead up to Type Lumina, like spending a lot of time playing current code. And yeah, like Caster's been the thing that we've used for like damn near a decade at this point. And like the entrenched veterans, we're used to like, hopping onto a Discord or a DMing our IPs, and like, that sets up a whole bunch of like friggin' like security issues. And I know that like once Concerto dropped, it made having a lobby system, or like now like the most recent update had like matchmaking.
Yeah,
like,
we
that's
got matchmaking in there.
incredible. Like I know even like the Japanese community, they love not having to type in their IP addresses and just setting up a JP lobby. And
Yeah,
that's
I'll shout out a
completely fine,
couple of
too.
names. Thank you to like Nerd Josh, Majin Obama, and his Discord, the Doogies. Shout outs to on the JP side, Jin Kuma. A lot of those guys in the JP side were some of the earliest people, and a lot of streamers like took it for a spin, which gave me a lot of anxiety. I was like, oh my god, something's gonna break. And it didn't. We really didn't have many. Like Hanzo Gonzo also streamed on it and had a good time, and I was just like so ready for something to go wrong. And you know what? Nothing went wrong. I think the only time that something was like wrong was like when Numaki.
I think I saw Shinobi stream.
Shinobi streamed it. Yeah, Shinobi streamed it. Makoto Fox was doing streamed like every single day with it. Like in the lead up to Type Lumina, he was doing lobbies every single day.
I will say every single one of like Makoto Fox's stream titles were like meta defining gold. Like it was just some sort of meta commentary on the
I
FGC.
retweeted every single one of those when he was doing that.
Exactly.
I was all over that. But yeah, I mean, I saw like a lot of people use it to like get people into Actress again, current code, like in the lead up to Type Lumina. So that was really cool. That was definitely a big payoff. And it's still there. The nice part is that I've done a lot of optimizations to kind of like not have to pay for servers and for it to be kind of less maintenance, so I can go into 22 not having to think about it too much. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Concerto was a big part of what I did in 2021. So that definitely dragged on for a bit, but I had to mention it. Tenma, talk to me. What was your highlight of 2021?
Yeah. Before I get to that, I actually wanted to ask you a question.
Sure,
regarding
talk to me.
Concerto real
Talk to
quick.
me.
Is Ccaster like open source at this point?
Yeah, it is.
Like I'm still okay. So I'm about to ask, like, because originally when it was conceptualized, it was Math Scientist. Right,
Yes.
From it's actually from Ontario, Canada. And then I guess he's been a hermit. I haven't seen that fool in years now, but like I don't know if he had any involvement with this because I didn't know if it was open source or not.
I'll kind of really address like who's making what. So really quick, Ccaster 3.0 was MadSci, as you mentioned. But ever since that came out, owing to like Windows updates and stuff, there has been a need for maintenance. and that has fallen to two people, Pluot and Rekar. Pluot's been around for a long time. Rekar, I've
Also
known
been
him.
around for a long time.
Yeah, around for a long time. Some some people tell me that he's been around doing other things. That his work on Melty is relatively new. I don't know if that's true or not. But Pluot was doing a lot of maintenance, and then Rekar was working on the 3.1 update, which was like a big game changing update. That I had coordinated with him to kind of divide the work between what needed to be updated in CC Caster and what Concerto could bring to the table, right?
Nice.
So Ccaster 3.1 now is out. It brings a ton of cool stuff. It brings the matchmaking. It brings the trial mode, which was Rekar's kind of pet project for a long time, doing combo trials in Melty Blood. It adds SOCD behaviors in the configuration, so you don't have to download like an extra DLL. So that's nice for keyboard players. And then online lobbies was like the thing that I was working on, and also the graphical presentation. So Rekar's work was directly modifying CC Caster, right? That code is open source. So the community has developed a couple different updates
Nice.
in the past, and 3.1 is now like the standard. Like it's where it needs to be,
Nice.
and it does everything that people want. The reason that I guess people have asked me this, the reason that Concerto is a separate application is because MadSci's design for CC Caster was so heavily reliant on being a graphic, like a text console application, that if anyone wanted to develop something like this, they would have to do a lot of reworking of that code. And the problem is that a lot of it is very old C++. Some of it is assembly. There's just like a ton of dependencies. And it's just like, that might be okay for someone else, but at least for me, in my capacity as a programmer and what I wanted to do, I was like, I need to find a different way. So I went around it a different way of developing a program that could control CC Caster, so that I didn't have to learn the minutia of developing like a complete rework of CC Caster, because that would not only take me way longer, it would potentially add up to like a lot of incompatibilities.
Yeah, you want to keep the backwards compatibility for sure.
Yeah, and I
Just in case.
busted my ass to make sure that absolutely everybody who can access it, can. I couldn't do everything, but a lot of people can use it. The majority of the player base, like a large majority. So that was development priority. I can talk about this stuff for obviously hours, because so much of it was on me. Maybe another time I'll do a postmortem or something.
That'll be the paid content podcast.
Yeah, that'll be the first Patreon episode. Don't worry, guys.
There you go.
What else? Oh yeah, Tenma, you didn't even tell me what your highlights was. Talk to me.
Yes. So obviously, everything we talked about so far, all great stuff. I guess I'll come from the side of Arc System Works side of things. So 2021, Strive, Guilty Gear Strive, and even before that, like the whole beta, the open beta with R on Steam, and that kind of like led up to like, oh, what can ArcSys offer on their implementation of rollback? And Plus R was like, hey, it's a community favorite game, and then they did right off the bat, they did pretty well, and then really fast with the modding or like the maintenance, like you said, and then out comes Strive, and then that I felt like completely changed how people view online play, right? So that just and like it was definitely a big game that a lot of people were excited to play for sure. And then now that still extends, right? Obviously, Strive is still a main game, like still an updated game.
Yeah, Strive is
like,
huge, dude. Holy shit.
And then now they're expanding that backwards, I guess, in the sense that now we also get Blaze Blue rollback coming, or the open beta is out, like, and they're doing it like the Plus R style of just like, oh, it's just like
Infinite beta. I'm so glad they did that.
it's infinite beta. I mean, they realized how popular it was with Plus R, right? So it's just like yo, just keep at it.
I just want
And
to say also on like adding to that, the state in which the beta launched for CF was really good.
where
Like
it was.
like
Yeah.
there's people have some very valid stuff like that they should and probably will address, but like one of the things that caught me is that a lot of people don't know how beautiful the 3D stages in BlazBlue have always been. That was
Yeah.
that was like a thing to me when I first played BlazBlue on Xbox 360. I was like, wow, this shit looks awesome. It's like got these 3D stages and the music. It's like a lot of people who were previously exposed to, BlazBlue, with net play stages and all that, they had not seen that. And I saw a lot of people kind of appreciate that aspect. So for them to have launched the rollback beta with every stage working perfectly is really something. It's really good. They did a really good job with
Even
that.
some of the soft band stages works. There are soft band stages in BlazBlue CS.
Please keep vocal songs banned though, because people want to monetize their footage. Please
Yeah, that is
don't be
true.
that guy who
Oh, yeah, for
plays
sure.
Endgazer for 50 times in a row at the setup.
That and there's a few others. But yeah, no. Again, I'm super excited about obviously Strive as the frontline game, how that's gonna be played out for this year. Arc Revo has happened and is happening, right? Because in Canada we're having Arc Revo Canada end of this month, so it's still continuing, it's still going. Then for every other Arxis games, high hopes for that too. So
Yeah.
really excited.
I mentioned this on Twitter. I think like last month. I said that it's actually crazy how like Arc went from like having no games with rollback to like Strive plus R, CF, Tag, and DNF. That's 5 games. By the end of this year, they're gonna have 5 titles with rollback netcode, and minimum, right?
Yeah.
Like that is crazy turnaround time. Like if you think about like how long it really took them to make all this stuff, right? It's kind of crazy. It's only been like 2 years. I don't remember when they started doing the press tour for Strive. That was like 2019, something like that. And like they did the delay and all that, and after Strive came out, they kind of went ham. So big ups to them on the turnaround time. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it for this topic. So let's go to the big thing that dropped on us last month that we should talk about, because we're gonna start looking at what's coming up in 2022, and we got a glimpse of that in the open beta test for DNF Duel and the second open beta test for King of Fighters 15. I kind of want to ask, like, which one did you guys play, and what was your strongest impression? Even if like you're strong, like you had to. They were at literally the same time. You had to sit down and pick one. So at the end of the day, you're gonna have one strong impression left on you, I think, by having that, because you've got to like divide your time. You're like, okay, which one do I want to play? So one of these has to have left an impact on you. So what I want to hear is, did you play both of them? And after that, what was your big takeaway from that weekend? So Coren, I'm gonna take it from the top again.
All right, I was stuck in a vortex with low to no internet access, so mostly I played KOF because I could play that offline.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little bit of time in with most of the characters. I don't think I did play K-Dash a bit, but that was the last one, I think. Anyway, I got time in with a lot of the characters. I didn't have much time to play, though. It's pretty good so far. The new character, Ilsa, she's kind of weird. She's got a lot of movement options that are cool.
Like a lot of her toolkit's a lot of air movement, which feels real weird, especially if you're like a Shune player, like I was. Like, it kind of travel and like in an arc rather than straightforward.
Yeah, instead of having like air dashes, she has like different air command jumps.
Yeah, almost like a command double jump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
she
like,
has a move she can do out of it too.
I was talking with notable King of Fighters player LeBron because he's local to me, and
989898.
988, yeah. So he was saying that like the way to like look at Ilsa is that you shouldn't be like the double jump mix up should be like layer 2 of the mix up game. Like you should be playing normal King of Fighters, doing the typical high low type of deal on people's wake ups, and then once they start reading those kind of options, that's when you start integrating the double jump mix ups. And I was like, okay, yeah, this seems very doable, as opposed to like Shune, where almost every time you kind of want to like mix up high low, air dash,
Yeah.
not air dash.
Yeah, her name is Isla.
Isla.
Yeah, there you go.
Isla. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the other character I think that's Cronin, I think they're calling him now.
K999.
Yeah,
K49.
he seems
who,
all
sorry?
right. They got rid of the pretzels are gone. No more classic Raging Storm input, which
You can still do it as it though.
It's supposedly
okay,
has
if
this.
you just took Nameless and you did that to him, the character would go from like one of the easier characters to play, except he's got this one hard, to just the straight up easiest character to play, and he's too good. But with Cronin, I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem because he's not Nameless or K49, even though he has like a lot of the same tools, kind of.
Yeah, but like the max mode operates differently from O2, so it's not that as problematic.
Yeah, it's not just DP, 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 and then you do Raging Storm and they're dead.
Yeah. It's still pretty easy, like confirm though, because like he still has the super meaty jump ins that you can confirm in the max mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other character I think that's going to be really sick is I think Ryo is pretty much the sickest he's been since like 11.
He is
Ryo
pretty
seems
sick.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think Terry's also kind of sick.
I was about to say, there's no way you can't mention Terry is sauced the fuck up this time.
Oh yeah, being able to juggle off of Power Geyser is sick.
Dude, like being able to do like power charge and special cancel, I was like, this is sick.
Power charge has armor.
That's not a new, power charge into special is not a new concept, but like it's really cool that he
had
that.
Yeah, so I guess that's your impression of the beta weekend. Daryl, what have you got for me?
Yeah, so I played a little bit of King of Fighters, but most of my time was actually with the DNF like beta, just because it's shiny, it's new, it looks super wild, and I played Inquisitor for most of that, so I was hitting people with the Beyblade the entire time online. That move has to go. It's really good because it just keeps fools on lockdown, and since there's a guard break in this, I'm just gonna spin a win until they guard break. Character's nice,
bro. I haven't seen a character like throw out like as broken like a spinny move since like Hiryu in Survival Arts.
dude, like just a one game like that move.
No,
dude, that move alone just passes all kinds of eye tests. Like you could be at any level of like fighting game aptitude to know that move is completely busted.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I know NorCal, the book of fools I was playing, they were on that Crusader grind. I was like, yep, I feel it, gotta be one with Jesus and everything. But yeah, that character looks like super funny. Like I like that. I like almost every character's design in this game, and like I've never played Dungeon Fight Online, so all these fools look pretty swag, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played Dungeon Fighter in like over a decade, but a lot of the characters, it seems like their inputs are pretty much exactly the same as they were in the MMO. Which is
what's
cool.
really
That's
funny?
tight.
I want to mention something now that you mentioned that. A lot of people took to Twitter to complain about simplified inputs. After the beta ended, I guess just because they had nothing better to do with their day, and what's really funny is like I understood the argument with Granblue because like Granblue is not any other game other than like a mobile game, so like they have to make their own decisions about the fighting game system. But Dungeon Fighter is literally a fighting game MMO. They literally have this system of input in the original game. So if you're gonna log into Twitter and make an ass of yourself by saying, "Hey, I don't like this simplified input system," it's literally like the only mechanic that they carried over from DFO. Like it's probably the only mechanic that makes any sense in the game. So I was just like, this is not a new thing. Especially not for Dungeon Fighter fans. You're the one who's making yourself look a little weird, because I mean, anybody who's been playing DFO for a long amount of time is going to be like, yeah, I mean, this is exactly how it works. It's like, isn't it always like this? I felt the disconnect between like people who like just play fighting games and people who can appreciate the source material of the game, right?
The other thing I need to complain about in terms of like people's Twitter hot takes is Arc is not developing the gameplay. It's aiding. It's Marvel vs. Capcom 4 for real, but Dungeon Fighter instead.
I like how ham they're going on with this, so I can appreciate it.
And if you've played an aiding game, you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah, it was. I'll talk about it in a minute, but I do think that I hope they do. I hope they do make it a little easier to, or at least enforce some sort of creativity, because the thing about it was like, it's fine to have very lenient combo systems, like barring like the Grappler Infinite, for example. Like that stuff needs to be addressed, and I think we're probably going to be better off if that stuff gets addressed, unless unless it's like a Fate Unlimited codes like situation where like that one grab infinite exists, right? But for example, if Crusader's best combo is to juggle you and just hit 5S over and over and over to like slam you on the wall, like I'm sure everybody saw that clip of like Crusader just like hammer smashing down, just like keeping the opponent like 15 feet in the air. I'm just like, that's cool. It also does a lot of damage, so that might just be the best thing he can do, and I'm kind of worried about what that would look like if people are just doing that over and over.
But would you prefer it didn't do a lot of damage, but he just kept doing it for longer?
Yeah, honestly, it'd be really funny. Timer scam.
Just like the old Waldfinite and Unil. All right, I see.
It would be really funny. I'm not gonna lie to you if he just did it for like a really long time. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of worried about like when you have very freeform combo structure, which this game pretty much did, given what they're giving players tools for. You also got to worry about whether or not the gameplay kind of very quickly gets figured out into like, oh, this is really easy to do and also does a ton of damage. We'll see, right? But a lot of people seem to like the initial showing, even if things got a little out of hand, which I guess was what people wanted, right? People also wanted things to get out of hand with Aiding's involvement. All right,
Sometimes
I guess
you gotta choose violence.
Yeah. They did. All right. My impressions of the DNF Duel and KO15 beta. I played both betas. I had plenty of time to play both of them. My opinion of that weekend is that I put in my pre-order for KOF15. That game is in such a great spot, and I'm not a guy who's got any sort of legacy with KOF. It's not a franchise that I'm particularly invested in, but I had such a great time playing KOF 15 that weekend. The gameplay feels so good. The graphics are exactly as legible as I want them to be. That everyone who was complaining is just complaining for the sake of complaining, in my opinion. The netcode was so good. I was playing people around the world. I didn't care who, what toaster they were playing. The netcode was great. It was so improved from the first beta. I really like what they did to Ryo and Terry, which you already mentioned. I cannot imagine not spending time with this game when it has the full release. So I put in my pre-order. I'm super happy with it. DNF Duel. I played it. Did not have a great time. I was really annoyed that I had to spend forever getting into a match, and then once I had
that first day was super rough.
Once I got into a match, I was playing people, I was having a good time, I was trying different characters. I really liked Dragon Knight towards the end, but people would randomly get disconnected on me. I was like, okay, and the thing is that like I always complain about video games using betas as marketing. I always complain about this. Not necessarily in fighting games, And I don't necessarily think that that's what they're doing here, but
No, that was a
also,
legitimate test.
it was
Yeah, that was a legit stress
what
test
I'm
because
yeah what I'm
we saw how
cons-
stressed out they were. That internet was like.
yeah what I'm concerned about is how much they actually are planning on changing the game towards launch. Like, is the lobby going to get any different? No, absolutely not. Are you
No,
going to
that's
be
final
able?
probably.
Yeah, are you going to be able to see the connections before you accept the match? No, probably not. It's probably safe to assume. You can't do it in Strive. You can't do it in Grand Blue. You can't do it in Dragon Ball. You're gonna get nothing. You're just gonna see like a connection bar if they're nice to you, and that kind of stuff I've complained about in Arx's titles for a while now. And it was particularly annoying that I found out later that the only way that you could what they ended up doing, what I've been told they ended up doing, is that they went to a fan-made Discord server for the game and put out a survey in that Discord server. That was the only survey that existed. I was informed of this after, and I was very annoyed by that. You know what? I was like, you know what? That should have been a thing that everyone could have contributed to. I wanted to put my inputs in, and SNK did the OBT hashtag on Twitter, right? So they were actively looking at social media. They didn't put out a survey, but at least they did that. And when I found out later that survey, which came from Neopal, is what I'm told, basically happened in like a Discord server that nobody had any reason to join anyway. I was immediately a little concerned about how they're gonna address feedback. I didn't love the gameplay. I didn't dislike it. The netcode is obviously great, but there's also a lot of great games with netcode out now, with good netcode now. So I really hope that they will improve the online experience and give people more of what they want, because I think it's a given that the game will sell decently, but I didn't really see myself picking it up as is. I mean, I probably will if there's a tournament scene, because that's just what I do. But KOF 15 got a pre-order out of me, and the other one I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I'll see what happens when the game comes out. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but KOF 15 looks incredible. That's all I really got. The game is gonna be something else, dude. That game is going to be the biggest KOF release I think ever.
Yeah, I have two complaints about KOF.
Talk to me.
One is I need them to fix the backdash, because like the backdash input in the current one is weird, and you can't do like backdash whiff normal to go further.
Yeah, doing backdash taco is just as good as normal backdash. And it just
You gotta
doesn't
double
look as
tap
cool.
the backdash like really fast and like hold the back. And the other thing I need to complain about is the same thing I complain about every time one of these fighting games put out like a user survey, and they need to add Karnov to the game.
They need to add Karnov, and also, I was literally saying that. I was like, they need to put in like a Data East character, or like an 80k character in there. Like get me Mizoguchi again if you have to.
Yo, Mizoguchi,
somebody, right? Just like
Gucci's back.
No, I want a King Lion somewhere, anywhere.
Did you just say that? Yeah, I was literally about to say. Like, if you guys, they're gonna have a jukebox. Can we get the Kizuna Encounter soundtrack in the jukebox, please? I put that in my tweets. I was like, can you guys please put it in there? You're only gonna make like one person happy, but I'm that person, so it's okay.
Yeah, I will say the one King of Fighters game they added Mizoguchi and fucking Neo Wave Regulation. Like that character was super cool in that game. Like that fool had, like,
Mizoguchi is tight, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be a good idea.
Yeah, dude, I want to be able to do like a high kick and then like a sandal comes out of the sky. That's pretty dope.
Did you know that Mizoguchi is in Kenka Bancho as a secret boss for some reason?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I actually didn't know that. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about like single player content in those games, bro.
But yeah, I had a great time with KO 15 DNF Duel. I guess I'm not particularly won over, but I'm also not particularly hungry for a new fighting game right now. So that's probably a good thing.
I think DNF Duel, I think it was legitimately a digital look test. Like I think
mean,
a lot of that
you know
stuff was
what?
spaghetti they were throwing on the wall.
You know
It's the
what?
only thing that makes sense.
I'd be okay with that if they had just told us that. That was kind of my whole thing about it. I was like, what is this? What is this test? What do you want me to see here? You know, I guess the answer
Well,
is
like what
everything.
feedback do they want?
Exactly. That was my whole problem with it. I was like, okay, this is a game. You know, the online is buggy. Nobody seems to have a clear grasp on the gameplay. There's an infinite. Okay, what do you want me to say about this? It's like I don't know.
Like, what's the intent? Like,
yeah, like
Yo, but keep that grappler infinite though, dude. We need all these grapplers to make sure that all these zoners can fear for their lives off one touch. Say.
oh my lord.
I get I don't know. I got nothing. I hope they do another beta test. I normally don't advocate for that kind of thing. I just want them to like usually they
show some intent of improvement somewhere.
Yeah. I would like to see like another beta if they can.
It's the release. There's no release date. Right?
Summer, I think they said.
Summer.
Yeah, it's really
Wow.
soon.
It's also kind of weird that they haven't announced like any new characters since the beta. Like,
they did.
oh, word?
Yeah, they did. They announced female mechanic, troubleshooter, and another character. I don't remember his name, but yeah, there was like 3 characters.
You know, when I hear troubleshooter, I'm thinking like some sort of IT guy.
Yeah, troubleshooter's like a different version of Hitman. Yeah, it's a different version of Hitman. So yeah, there are more. There are gonna be more characters. I suspect. I think somebody said it was like if you looked at the roster screen, it was gonna be like 16 characters or something like that. I mean, sure. So yeah. I guess we'll probably have a lot to say about that over the course of the year, especially if DNF Duel gets DNF Duel. You know what I will say though, DNF Duel looks like Arc Revo the game written all over it. Like that is gonna be an Arc Revo game.
Dude, I hope this is like some sort of like. I hope this is like something where like they wanted to do in like Blaze Blue. Whenever they like move Blaze Blue to like 3D models, I hope this is like a proof of concept.
You know what I want? Now that you say that, you know what I want is like I want them to do Arc Revo for these games with rollback updates. Like it's kind of a given that they're gonna do DNF Duel Arc Revo. Like it is so fucking obvious that they're gonna do it. Like everything is there, but what I want is I want to see an official ACPR circuit. I want to see an official BBCF tournament. I also want to see. I think Tag was at Arc Revo in the past. They should bring it back.
Yeah, it was. It was like in the first one.
I want them to give those rollback updates the limelight in their esports stuff. Like I want to see that, and I think it would be a loss to us if we did not. Because I was there. I don't know if I was the first, but I was one of the first to do tournaments on the Plus R rollback update, and the demand, the numbers for that was so huge, and that continues to this day because we're about to get into Frosty Faustings. I want to talk about the numbers for Plus R Frosties, but like those games absolutely deserve to come back for Arc Revo if they can make it happen, especially online Arc if they decide to keep doing that.
Yeah, I really want to see like people come back to like Blaze Blue CF because I feel like that series, the mainland series, has taken a backseat over this past couple of years, and then like thanks to the prevalence of like online tournaments, especially the efforts done by our own chick Zamo, like
yeah. You know what?
Looking pretty nice now.
You know what? If you guys look, Arc. I know you're listening. Somebody from Arc. I don't know if it's Sheeny. Look, bro. If you guys don't have the money to do like Arc Revo BBCF, don't even worry about it. I got somebody who will run it for you. It's called World Serpent Cup. Okay, you guys just slap the Arc logo on it. Okay, you put some money in the pot, and it's gonna blow up for you. Okay, you don't even have to do it. I will put you in touch, or you can just go look up Chickzama on Twitter.com. It's right there. It is free. Okay, it is so easy to do. So yeah, that's my final thoughts about betas. Let's talk about offline events. Let's talk about Frosty Faustings. We're back, baby. It's gonna be in Lombard, Illinois, as always, January 28 and 29, and there's a whole lot of games. This is like a disgusting amount of games. I'm really like overwhelmed by just how many games we're gonna see at an offline event this year. Like there's just so much to look forward to, and this is what I am in the FGC for. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am here to see all these fucking games. I want to be surprised. I want to see things that I don't always see. You know, I like this sort of variety, and so Frosty Faustings is coming at us with like how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, like something like 5
Dude, this lineup looks
over
almost like
over
this
20
lineup.
official tournaments.
Yeah,
Like over 25, I think.
Dude, like this lineup reminds me of like when we were doing Anime Evo at Evo.
Yeah.
Like the diversity of this lineup is absurd.
I can't list them all. If you're listening, I'm gonna absolutely have links in the description of the video or the podcast for the information for Frosty Faustings. But the official tournaments is like over 20, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like over 15 side tournaments. It's just this graphic has like so many fucking logos on it, and I'm just like I am in awe at what I'm seeing here.
There's like a bajillion side tournaments too.
There's
like,
there's a.
I missed all those announcements. That's crazy.
The event is capped at 3,000 registered attendees. Right now, they have 2,235 attendees on their official Smash. This is a huge freaking event. This is a huge event. Like we gotta. This is like you know, CEO was big, but like just the sheer scope of how many setups and how many games. It's like there is something for everyone. So really quick, just to kind of go over some of the developments here. Frosty Faustings has announced as of today, January 4th, which is when we're recording, that they will not have on-site competitor registration. Competitors will have until 11:59 p.m. on the 9th Central Time to either sign up or change their main game registration. Side games are unaffected. Spectator badges are likely to hit cap before the event, so if you're planning on watching, then you should register soon. Right now, we are in late registration phase, so I think it's like $85 to get a ticket into the venue. Yeah, a lot of people in the TO kind of community in general were saying we're saying that on-site competitor registration should probably just not be a thing. The reason that they removed on-site registration is because here are the reasons: increased demand. Some games have hit their cap or are close to it. Attendee cap, and the desire to keep their staff safer by reducing stress, work hours, and the difficulty to execute their responsibilities to all guests. So I want to hear what you guys think about this. I mean, I think Shinobi went on Twitter and said this should just be a thing everywhere. Here you go. Keeping it 100, I feel like there should not be on-site registration for competitors moving forward. Even before the pandemic switched things up, one of the best decisions I've ever made as a TO. What do you guys feel about that?
Well, you know how everybody complains about their seeding, right?
Yeah.
You get more time to seed them if they have to register ahead of time.
Very correct. Daryl, do you have any opinion on
I think Tenma wanted to chime in first.
Oh, Tenma, talk to me.
I just want to quickly chime in real quick. I guess first question is like you're only talking about competitor. You're not talking about spectator.
Yeah, they're only talking about spectator. Spectator, if you want to show up, you can, but they're not expecting that they're going to have a lot of space.
It's going to be interesting. If it's for sake of safety, it is. If it's for the sake of safety, even like having on-day spectator seems like questionable, because if that's the goal.
I don't think it is. They didn't say that they would. They didn't specifically mention COVID restrictions as a reason for that or concerns.
Okay. I guess I misread it then. That's fine. But yeah, in terms of like reg for everything, like obviously, like I feel like there's still a lot of TO that still comes from like their local or regional in mind, where they're like, well, some region obviously has hundreds, lots of players, but like lots of their regionals are still like in their tens and twenties, maybe 50 for a single title, right? But like those, and with that, even the single TO can kind of handle that, and it's just like, and we're just like, if you're the TO and you got your homies, then it's just like, oh, you're gonna rush tonight. Oh, you didn't get it. Oh, I got you. Like that kind of mentality has happened before, probably still does, right?
Yeah.
But if it's an event of this caliber, like it should never be like allowed. And in fact, like obviously, I can't think of any like majors that happened 2019, 2019 that had on-site. Evo didn't have a on-site. I don't think Combo Breaker didn't have any on-site for, because there's seating to be considered, right? Like
Yeah.
any smaller events that's like side events or just happens on the spot, which obviously could happen. Yeah, of course. Just
Traditionally, I think the only major tournaments before COVID that had like on site was actually like my neck of the woods NorCal regionals, only because we have our death bracket rule, where anybody who signs up like past the normal registration date like gets put into one gigantic death bracket. So
I love that rule. Like, I think it's interesting because like it actually creates content as well.
it is
right?
really good content because like if you like, and as a competitor it's great because if you sign up early you get a pool of like 16 people and it's free. But if you decide to show up day of, and I know a lot of my local homies decide to show up to NorCal regionals day of, sign up, they got to deal with a 200-man bracket. Like it is absurd. Like why would you want to do this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about games really quick. So this event, like I said, has a lot of a lot of games. All the usuals are there. It's gonna be Smash. There's gonna be Street Fighter. There's gonna be Tekken. There's gonna be Dragon Ball Fighters. There's gonna be Strive. There's gonna be Type Lumina. But the official event lineup is surprisingly diverse and has surprising amount. I think niche picks, at least in the context of what we're talking about. So if you don't know, the TO, Elven Shadow is kind of a big deal in the gear community. So Plus R, Exerd, and Strive are all main events. I wanna talk really quickly about how many people are signed up for Guilty Gear Plus R, because this game got the rollback update during the pandemic, and now the question is, how does that translate to offline? Right? How does that translate to offline? Well, right now there are 212 attendees for this game. So what did we say? Like 25%. There's like 25 games, sorry. There's like 25 games, and this one old man game that got a netcode upgrade represents 10% of the registrants in terms of like game share percentage. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Like that kind of speaks to the way that this stuff translates to offline. At least I think. What do you guys think about that?
I'm personally not surprised. This is like good. Like Plus R has been the Frosty Faustings like highlight game every single year. So it's almost like it's almost like what Melty Blood and Unil is to Climax. Well Plus R is like that to Frosty Fausting, where every notable player, at least in North America, shows up to play Plus R at Frosty.
All right, one more
But
thing.
but seeing the growth though is what's surprising.
Yeah, the growth is huge. I'm gonna do this one more time for Central Fiction. Also just got rollback. 192 attendees. So this is also an official event. It's also blowing up in the bracket numbers. It's almost like having good online translates to good offline. Okay, and I'm only saying this because in the past, people have argued to me that having good online is going to kill offline scenes, and that's the dumbest take anyone's ever said to me, to be honest. No, having good online play encourages people to show up to these events because they're going to know what the game is, and they're going to actually be part of the player base. So please do not ever come at me again with a take like that.
I feel like it depends on where they're coming from too, though, right? Because like certain games doesn't have an offline culture to start, and some newer players, like, if someone has started during this COVID time, they don't know what offline tournament culture is, so they won't
Oh
understand the
yeah. I mean,
significance.
I suspect that a lot of people are maybe going to go to their to the very first fighting game tournaments ever now that these tournaments are coming back, cuz they maybe they picked up fighting games during the pandemic, right? And they want to see this stuff. There's no way, I think, as it is, that interact with fighting games for any lengthy amount of time and not find out about offline events. And I think that has the aspect of like you're gonna see a lot of first timers, I think, at these kind of events, especially for some of these games with good netcode now. Quick shout out to a couple of other events that are on the lineup. Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, really nice to see that. Fantasy Strike calls Frosty Faustings like its biggest event. That's kind of
Dude,
like,
I'm hyped to see this, like the Chicago staple, the mystery tournament.
Yeah,
I want to see what
Chicago Mystery
I want to
Tournament.
see what kind of new content they bring up this time.
Chicago Mystery Tournament, Marvel 3, right? That's going to be great. The side events are looking particularly strong. They have Windjammers and Windjammers 2. Persona 4.
Dive kick?
Yeah, they have Dive Kick. Persona 4, I feel like this is going to be a good chance for people who are kind of interested in picking up the re-release to kind of see where people are at competitively. Also, side note, I don't know what version this tournament is going to run for P4A. I think it's PS3. So bear in mind that what you're going to see at that tournament is not
The
the
update's
patch.
not coming out this month, is it?
No, it's not. But what I'm saying is, bear in mind that if you're interested in Persona 4 Arena and you want to watch this event, bear in mind that the release that's coming to new consoles and PC is not this update. It's a version that was only in arcades. It's very different to this. So remains to be seen what that's going to be. But I mean, the Persona 4 community is trying to get itself out there right now. I always got to shout out the Tatsunoko versus Capcom events every time I see them. I love that game, so watch the tournament, damn it.
I'm surprised it's like relegated to the side tournaments, because like TVC has a really strong like Chicago local scene. So it's gonna be.
I mean, I think the thing is that they really tried to get developer support for the official tournaments. So like Fantasy Strike always gets support by Serlin Games.
Yeah.
Them's Fighting Herds is being supported by Main 6, and that's a main event.
And also Power Rangers.
Power Rangers, exactly. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Surprise Killer Instincts is side tournament as well, on the note of like Chicago and like kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, like also, it's in the same vein as Dive Kick, right? Same developers. Or like...
Yeah. Also, Shinobi's running Multi-Blood Actress against Current Code.
I think that's I think the Scrot's actually doing that one.
I thought that was for CEO. No, is it? I don't know. Hold on.
I think Scrot is handling the Frosty Faustings. Like, that fool is the reigning Faustings champ for NBACC. So
yeah. But Shinobi. Yeah, here's the tweet. Yeah, I'll be running the Current Code side tournament of Frosty Faustings. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, sick. Okay,
it's him. Last shout out I'm gonna give is to Mbon. Mbon is showing up. I don't know how big that is gonna be, so if you like Mbon, you should probably throw some support to the people who are bringing that out. Because Mbon has been kind of a fascination of mine in the last few months, so I will definitely be watching and taking notes. Yeah, that's Frosty Faustings. Now we've talked about the immediate future. Right, this is going to be.
Sorry, before we move on to that, real quick. Do we know so we know that the event is getting it's blowing up for attendees.
Yes,
Do we know if there are? Obviously, it's hard because of the current times, but has there been any like tweets or someone saying like they're coming from international for this?
Well, we can probably just find that out, I guess.
That is always like because even for I'm just gonna take Guilty Gear as an example, but some Japanese players has and previously has traveled to Frosty, but then even before that, I guess even more closer to than that. Like I can't recall if any of the Canadian folks are going. I actually had a few folks here that did Reg, but then it's obviously the travel between Canada right now.
I honestly can't speak to that. I'm not sure. I'm looking at the list right now, just kind of as a cursory look, and I see a lot of familiar names from the U.S. I don't know if we have any Japanese players. I don't really know if we have any.
I doubt that.
International travel is kind of sketch right now. I'd be surprised.
I see. Hold on. Where is this guy from? Oh yeah, no, he's Cali. Thought I saw somebody for the GG who was EU, but no. Yeah, I have no idea honestly, and I can't really sort through this right now to really say. I would not be surprised if there was not a lot of international reps. So I can tell you right now because I'm planning a trip to the US. It's giving me so much anxiety to have to go through that shit. I can't imagine doing it for a tournament. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. That's Frosties. I'm super excited to watch. If you're gonna go, obviously best of luck, and please let us know in the comments what you expect, or what you're gonna do, or what your thoughts are on all of this.
If you're going, please go to their website, and they do have a COVID-19 policy. So
Yes,
give it a
read
look.
it.
Yes, it is pretty standard stuff, but please read.
Also, I do want to. I guess now that we just mentioned that, a lot of people now are kind of noticing that, for effective prevention of spread, that you should be wearing N95 masks. Okay, so if you're gonna show up to this 2,000 plus event venue, or 2,000 member plus venue, this huge venue, get yourself some N95 masks. Okay, do it. Just do it. Okay, you're gonna keep yourself safer. It's better than a cloth mask. So that is kind of a new thing that a lot of people are recommending to each other. So if you're listening, N95 masks, buy some. Yeah, I think that's what we got for Frosties. I'm super excited. And now we can talk about everything else that we're expecting in 2022. So I'm going to do what we did at the beginning of this episode, which I'm going to go down the list, and I'm going to ask you guys, what are the things you are looking forward to the most in the fighting game scene for 2022? So, Coren, what are you looking forward to?
King of Fighters, and maybe something new will come out of Virtual Fighter at some point. Maybe we'll get some cool announcements in the future. They seem to be teasing that they've more or less okayed a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a 2022 thing, but I really like that interview that they did with Dengeki. I hope that continues to be a thing.
Yeah, I like that producer Aoki is being very open.
I'm gonna link an article that I wrote.
What's going on there?
Yeah, I'm gonna link an article that I wrote on Super Combo that has details on the interview that I mentioned. There was a thread of translated comments from him that I linked, and also some information on kind of the status of Virtua Fighter as a whole. So I'm gonna have that linked. Okay. Daryl, what have you got for me? What are you looking forward to?
As always, I'm looking forward for more Melty Blood DLC coming down the pipeline, especially since the new characters they're dropping for free. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be really interesting to see. It's great for TOs because we don't have to buy DLC every single
Yes.
time.
Bless.
So that's gonna be
Bless.
good. So yeah, please more of that, more free DLC characters because it makes it so much easier to run. This is the easiest. TL is the easiest Melty Blood tournament I've had to run in the last 10 years. I don't have to worry about inconsistent PC setups or incompatible controllers, none of that. So I'm loving Melty
USB
Blood
polling rates.
yeah. So yeah, keep it up. I love Type Lumina as a TO, and I'll keep supporting this game.
Yeah, you know what? I am going to echo that, but I'm going to go one step further. And you know what I'm looking forward to in 2021? French bread. French bread in general. I think these guys are sitting on really big things, like the future Type Lumina DLC. They've very clearly been listening to feedback, and they've been addressing the points. And I do think that a lot of the things people are asking for are going to come to pass. And then also there's an Under Night update confirmed. I don't know if that'll be a 2022 thing necessarily, but we will probably hear about it at least. And that is like everyone is like, when's the next uni update? When is it happening? You know, everyone knows that it's gonna have rollback. There's just no way that it doesn't. So I think French Bread in 2022 is potentially gonna pop off. Obviously, you know, they're a small team, so I hope they do genuinely take their time and make the best decisions possible. But I am really looking forward to what they do this coming year. Last thing I think I'm looking forward to is what we do here at 956. I mean, we've been working on getting some semblance of an outline for what we want to do, including recording these episodes, you know, how we work together in the long term. So it's really nice to kind of see that stuff happening and what we're going to bring to the table really soon. So I'm really looking forward to playing part of that. Tenma, what have you got for me?
I think TL is gonna have a really good year for sure. During that, lots of online events still gonna be sticking around. And on that note, obviously, I have high hopes for Drive as well. As that game is obviously so popping. I think it's gonna keep going for probably still quite a bit of active updates throughout the years. I don't think we have heard anything yet after Cappy Chaos, but better. Like there's still
I mean, the season pass.
We know
is
stuff's
there.
coming. We know stuff is coming. It's almost just like when's more stuff? But it's just like this game is not even out for a year yet. Like,
well, I will say that I do want to hear an update from the crossplay stuff. I do want to know, like the answer that they gave, like verification process. I was like, that is so like nobody understood that. Everyone had a different take on what that meant. So I want them to give us like a solid, this is gonna happen. You know, this is when we expect it to happen. Maybe they'll do a test, something. I would like to know about that. But yeah, I mean, Arc
could be nice.
Arc in 2022 again is, you know, kind of ruling the world right now. I hope they you know the nice part about Arc's business model is that so much of what they do is based on licenses that it makes it a little easier for them to have so many new titles on the table, because it's not like Capcom, right? Where like Capcom's IPs can be saturated very quickly, but it's like, no, Arc's got DNF, they've got Persona, they've got Guilty Gear, they've got BlazBlue. They've got a really crazy looking portfolio.
You know, I will say whenever like we get some sort of like announcement for Street Fighter 6, like I'd be super hyped because I know like that's gonna be like the one Capcom like title that fighting game title that has been announced for like there hasn't been a new Capcom fighting game since what
since
MVCI?
Since MVCI,
Yeah. So I'm actually would be hyped.
Cross.
Yeah, sure.
That
So
was
yeah,
their last original series.
It's either that or like they do like an HD remake of Fate Unlimited Codes or something, bro. But like whatever the next Capcom fighting game is, dude, I'd be hyped to like.
Are you saying 2022 is gonna be an 8ings year?
8ings year to lose,
year
bro.
8ing, let's go.
The year of 8ing. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now that you mention it, Capcom did say that they were gonna have more information this year regarding that. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't necessarily think there's gonna be a release in 2022.
No way. But
no, it's gonna be that Darkstalkers game they've been working on since they showed that Darkstalkers aren't dead
man,
thing.
Shut up, man! Shut up! It's not even funny at this point.
Get out of here! We're on timeout. But honestly, like if this was the year for a new Street Fighter or maybe a Tekken announcement, I'm up for it. Like I'd be down. Like those two games have been like the mainstay for like, you know, what the casual fighting game players like, you know, gravitate towards, and I want to see them, you know, eat as well as, you know, the Melty Blood players last year. So
yeah, I mean, I would like Street Fighter online to be bearable, because I would definitely like to chill with my Street Fighter locals, because like I do not enjoy grinding a game to later go to offline and then just like not know what I'm doing or just not be interested because the online play is bad. But
Mhm.
if Street Fighter can come back with a strong product, then I will be there. I will be there. So looking forward to what they do with that. And I think
Sure.
with that,
I mean,
we've talk to me, Tenma.
oh no, I was about to say, like, I think we had that at the end of the year too, right? Like, kind of like slightly off topic, but there's lots of like Capcom events still happening, and even some unofficial ones. Like, I don't know if you guys saw like Kimono Michi, the
Yeah.
one that Daigo.
Oh, that was
hosted, like,
hype. Yeah.
That was hype. Yeah.
Okay, that was. I could talk about that forever, but moving forward, just like because of that, like there's still a lot of like hype for uh definitely more so the old like Street Fighter 2, but Street Fighter 5 still had like good viewers, and like there was a lot of like story that went behind it too. So it's just like, but now what can the devs provide? That is gonna be the big question for this.
Oh, dude. You know what I just saw? Oh no, never mind. Oh, that's scary. Okay, yeah. I just saw like a patch note for like the Steam version of Melty Blood, and I almost died. But
Whoa.
it's literally apparently Sheeny never posted the patch notes for a patch from 2016. So now it's there. I was like, what the fuck? I was that was crazy. All right, well, much love to the developers of fighting games this year, and I think that's all we've got. Next episode is going to be back on schedule, so every other Sunday. So we will be back on the 30th, and you should definitely tune in because we're going to have a lot to say on that one. So thank you guys for listening once again. Again, we are available on YouTube, 956pro.com/YouTube. We're also on Spotify, 956pro.com/podcast. You can also get an RSS feed. We're also on Google Podcasts and a couple of other platforms. So you'll have no hard time finding us. If you liked what we're doing, if you want to weigh in, we have a comment section, of course, and we'd appreciate subscribing to our YouTube. We're really trying to get that out there. So again, thank you guys for the support. Looking forward to coming at y'all in 2022. And that's all for now. So have a good rest of your day.